Welcome once again to the Holy Convention of NCCI. The Yahweh Elohim has been joining us in Atlanta, that we may come together and read out of this great legacy that has been left us by our fathers and consider the things that we read in, because now is our time, Israel. When we look upon the earth, when we read the holy story, and then look upon the earth, we find out that one thing has been man's problem, and that's sin. And today we can see the results of what happened from the garden even after the flood, because sin is running rampant as Lucifer is ruling his kingdom the way that he needs to rule his kingdom. Of course, we know that the reason for this is simply because Yahweh has to get him some glory. It really had nothing to do with our fathers not doing the things that they were supposed to, that we think that they should do, because our fathers fulfilled their course. Their job was to receive the covenants, inherit the land, and produce the Messiah. And then once that took place, then Yahweh put the people out of the land. Yahweh likes their glory. And when he delivers the children of Israel, then he will receive all the glory and honor that he should receive. Not like our fathers, but this time it'll be different simply because there'll be spiritual beings that will inherit the kingdom, that will be on earth, and man will have more help on earth than he's ever had in his life once Israel is returned back to the land. So let us consider these things, because the whole world is waiting for the manifestation of the sons of the living God, and truly those of us that are going to be saved, truly you are the sons of the living God. So consider these things, my brothers and sisters, because our turn is coming up, and it's going to be the best time that man has ever had upon the earth. This is why Yahweh is spending all this time preparing us for this great thing, because we can't go into this kingdom doing the things that we're doing today. We can't even go into the kingdom with the same mindset that we have today. This is why Yahweh is in the process of, the Spirit rather, is in the process of deprogramming us and reprogramming us so that we can be called the trees of righteousness, the planting of his hands, that he might be glorified. But Brother Steve Woodork is of the church, and invite him who stands at the door, that he may come in and sup with us and us with him, that we may continue to read out of this great legacy and rest in the Spirit, that we might do what's necessary, that we might be saved.
I'm going to read the oracles of the church beginning 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man hath received a gift, even so minister the same one to another, as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yeshua, the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 29. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed unto the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim, for the Mashiach's sake, hath forgiven you. Be ye therefore followers of Elohim as dear children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also hath loved us, and hath given himself for us an offering and a sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet smelling savor. But fornication and all uncleanness, all covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becometh saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. Amen. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame, and am set down with my Father in his throne. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the church.
Praise Yah. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the church and Holy Convention. I thought what I do today is I do our deliverance. I like to do that about every 2 or 3 months so we can keep these things in our mind. So when we look up on the earth to see certain things, take prophecies being fulfilled, we'll know just about how much time we have to our deliverance. So I'd like to start our class today, our sermon today in Revelation chapter 6. Revelation chapter 6 and verse 12 through chapter 7 and verse 8. Revelations chapter 6 and verse 12 through chapter 7 and verse 8. We're going to pick this up when Lucifer gets thrown out of heaven. This is the time of Jacob's trouble. This will be the last 3.5 years of time that we have upon the earth that our people are going to receive unprecedented trouble from the adversary and his children. And if you don't have Yahweh's protection, you stand a very good chance of dying. Revelation chapter 6, my brother, pick that up at verse 12.
And I beheld when he had opened the 6th seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree cast her untimely figs, when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their place.
Right, the heaven departed as a scroll. Now remember, the apostles had asked Messiah what would be the signs of his coming. And he told them that the heavens was going to depart as a scroll. So what we're beginning to see is this. Now, heaven is not going to be opening and closing. You see, so what's happening here is Lucifer's being thrown out of heaven, and this is what the people that don't know, they're going to think that this is the Messiah returning back upon the earth. But this is Lucifer's deception upon the earth to show that that his son that he has put up is the Messiah, and we know good and well that the Messiah ain't no Gentile. Go ahead and read, brother.
Revelations chapter 6. Verse 15. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, Fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand?
The great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? Well, wait a minute now. We haven't even blown any trumpets yet. And the Mashiach can't come until after the 7th trumpet is blown and after the 7th vial is poured out. So we can very well see that this is Lucifer's deception upon the earth. So thank the Creator of all things that you've been briefed on what's going to take place, so you won't be deceived by these things, because like the scripture says, as a snare shall it come upon all the earth. Go ahead and read, brother.
Revelations chapter 7, verse 1. And after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree.
So what do we see here? So now we see four angels standing up, holding back those great arms, and say, don't you hurt anything until we see the service of our Elohim on his, in their forehead. Remember, Saul said, we shall be saved from wrath. So Judah has to be saved from the wrath of the adversary, the devil, because Satan's coming to make war with us once he gets thrown out of heaven. So we can very well see that Lucifer is going to be wide open, deceiving the whole world, and many of us are going to be deceived. Many of us are going to be deceived because, we usually have different ideas about doctrine. Yeah, but go ahead. Now, doctrine don't change, but we change. I didn't get it like that. I've been taught this way before, but that was wrong teaching, right? Keep letting the word of God fool you. Yeah. Go ahead and read, brother.
Revelations chapter 7, verse 2. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living Elohim, and he cried with a loud voice to the four angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea, saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea, nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our Elohim in their foreheads. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. Of the tribe of Yehudah was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Reuben was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Gad was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Asher was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Naphtali was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Manasseh was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Simeon was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Levi was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Issachar was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Zebulun was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Joseph was sealed 12,000. Of the tribe of Benjamin was sealed 12,000.
And if you notice, there are no other nations that were sealed from the wrath of the living God. Like Paul said, Paul said, glory and honor is to the Jew first. This is why Judah was the first tribe that was sealed. You finished that, right, brother?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Revelation chapter 12, in verse 1 through verse 12. Let's see what happens when Lucifer gets thrown out of heaven. Revelation chapter 12, in verse 1 through 12.
Verse 1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars.
Those 12 stars is 12 tribes of the children of Israel. Okay, go ahead, brother.
Yes, sir, verse 2. And she being with child cried, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head.
Hold your place right there. Now go over to Revelation chapter 13, because we're coming right back there. Go over to Revelation chapter 13, my brother, and I want you to read verse 1 through verse 3.
Yes, sir. Verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And Lucifer gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast.
So we can understand that all the different, reading this, we understand that all of the empires that came up on the earth, they was led by who? The adversary, the devil. Why? Because he is the prince of this earth. He is the prince of this earth, and he was given 6,000 years to rule this earth, and guess what? His people are doing a fantastic job. They got these big monstrosities, these big whorehouses springing up everywhere. People claiming 10 and... Yeah.
The elder, I read the latest what they got out in these Europeans come up with this scroll saying that Yeshua told Judas to betray him. They try to get this going now by some unrighteousness in Yeshua.
Brother Yahweh put every book in this Bible he wants you to have. When they get to talking about, they even got a gospel of Joseph. I'm talking about the Mashiach's father. Nothing was written about Joseph, but yet still they got a doctrine of Joseph. Now they've come up with a doctrine of Judas Iscariot.
Right, that's what it was.
The gospel. And this brother didn't even have time to write a doctrine. This brother here, he betrayed Christ and went out and he was feeling so bad, he went up on the mountain, tried to hang himself, and limb broke, and he fell down and busted himself wide open. He didn't have time to write no gospel. See? But these crackers giving us a whole lot of other stuff that's really not doctrine. What they're trying to do is this, disprove the Bible. This is, have you noticed this thing came up with that damn Da Vinci Code they got? Right, okay. And who the hell is Da Vinci? Well, no Gentiles given no authority to write no books now. Okay.
Big bucks off of them too.
Of course, my
big bucks.
Of course, my brother. And we can't make a nickel. Yeah. Let's go back to Revelation chapter 12, my brother, and let's pick that up at verse 5. I just wanted to pick up, just show that Lucifer is the ruler of this earth, and he's brought up all the kingdoms up on this earth for one purpose, to destroy the children of Israel. Go ahead, baby.
Start at verse 3, right?
Yes, start at verse 4.
Yes, sir. Revelation chapter 12, verse 4. And it tells you the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto Elohim and to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she have a place prepared of Elohim, that they should feed her there 1,260
That's
days.
3.5 years, the same length as the time of the Great Tribulation period. Go ahead and read, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 7. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him.
And they're seeing that there are legions and legions upon of angels. We can very well see that when Lucifer gets cast out, there's going to be a vast influx of unclean spirits here on this earth to deceive man. Why? Because we are swiftly approaching our deliverance. And a lot of us, if you ain't got your act together, you can believe one thing. When the Holy Ghost is taken out of the way, you're going to have some serious problems. You're going to have some serious problems. That's why you need to get your bonus ready now. We ain't got time to play these little bitchy games that we playing. We need to do what we have to do. What you're going to do, if you always say, well, okay, I've given you 3 years to get your act together, 10 years to get your act together, and you still out in the street whore hopping. You see, you still playing these games. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut you off, and then you're going to be deceived to think that the Creator's with you, like I keep telling you. Yahweh will let Lucifer deceive you if your heart ain't right. Go ahead and read, brother.
Revelation chapter 12, verse 10. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our Elohim and the power of his anointed one. For For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our Elohim day and night.
Now you have nobody in heaven to accuse you, right? Okay, go ahead, brother.
Verse 11. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death.
And they loved not their lives unto death. What do you put in front of your salvation? What is the price? What is your price? Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 12. Therefore rejoice, you heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knows that he have but a short time. That was it, Al.
Okay. I guess that's all I want you to go, brother. Okay, so what do we see? We had war in heaven. We had Lucifer and the angel was cast out of heaven, and once they get cast out of heaven, the main thing he wants to do is to destroy the tribe of Judah, which consists of the kings and the priest of the Most High. And if he can destroy those, then we will be in big trouble. And then what does he do? Once he gets cast out of heaven, he don't just come to make war with the house of Judah. He goes to make war with Israel worldwide. But let's see what Yahweh has planned for this. Ezekiel chapter 20, and verse 33 through verse 38. See, Scripture can't be broken. Everything has to fall right in order. There's a lot of debris in the book of Revelation, so you have to take things right in order as the Spirit shows and reveal these things to us. There ain't nothing you come and say what that means, because it's already written down. Ezekiel chapter 20, and I picked that up, my brother, at verse 33.
Yes, sir. Verse 33. As I live, says the Adonai Elohim, surely with a mighty hand, and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out, will I rule over.
Right, so it ain't going to be no song and dance, is it? He said, I'm going to rule over you with fury poured out. Not just on the adversaries, the children of the adversary, but fury is going to be poured out on us. Why do you think so many of us are going to get killed in this one? Go ahead, brother. Bad niggas need to be killed.
About to kill one this week, brother. Your buddy McKinney. Let's read you pass along. Verse 34. And I will bring you out from the people, and will gather you out of the countries wherein you are scattered, with a mighty hand, and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face. Like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so will I plead with you, says the Adonai Elohim.
He has given his angels charge over you to keep you in the way, and you shall not be moved unless you dash your foot against a stone. And the pleading is going to be done for the purging process. So go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 37. And I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you into the bond of the covenant, and I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel, and you shall know that I am Yahweh.
So he's going to bring the whole captivity out of here now. He's not going to leave any here. He's going to bring the whole captivity out of here, and then that's when he's going to plead with his people, and this is when the separation is going to start to take place. Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 1 through verse 15. Let's see which brings about what's going to bring about our getting up out of this country. Isaiah chapter 47 and verse 1 through verse 15.
Verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Europe. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Aryans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. Take the millstones and grind meal. Uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the river. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. As for our Redeemer, Yahweh of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent, and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Aryans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kings. I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance, and given them into your hand. You did show them no mercy. Upon the ancient have you very heavily laid thy yoke.
And this is something we don't want to talk with our children about, is that slavery thing. Slavery thing is something that only comes up once a year. That's in the month of February. And nobody wants to mention the word slavery. Slavery is just as bad a word as immigration. We don't want our children to know that we were slaves. Well, if they don't know the history, they have a tendency to repeat it. And when we read certain things that the government has planned for us, we already know that we are scheduled to repeat the same doggone thing that we did before we came over here. As a matter of fact, they already set up for it. So we can very well see, children of Israel, we ain't got time, we ain't got long to stay here in this place of our captivity. And we got a great job to do. We need to get it done. We need to get it done now. If you ain't going to do it, you don't need to come to church. Because if you learn this truth and don't do nothing with it, y'all, we're going to ball that up on you, and you're going to be a bigger child than Lucifer was before you came under the blood. And let me tell you something, ain't nothing like being deceived into believing that you serving the true and living God and serving the adversary, the devil, all the time. Yeah. But go ahead now.
I don't see the word slave being as taboo as the word nigger.
Of course.
Next year, too, they're going to be saying the S word. They're going to say slave.
Oh, yeah. I know it, brother. We are people, man, we got so much pride, we broke. Right. But we got so much pride, brother, and that pride is what's killing us. Yeah, but like the scripture said, a haughty spirit goes before we fall. But that pride goes before you are destroyed. It's a big difference than falling and being destroyed. But what happens is a lot of us are falling down in the crack, and we like to stay in that crack. You know why? That crack keeps us doing the things the way that we want to do. We like the pleasures of this earth and the thing that this earth has to offer right now in this captivity. And what has a slave got that's not going to be taken from the United States government claiming domain? Yeah. We saw a good case of that in the Gulfport area where the government is grabbing up everything. Yeah. Go ahead and read, brother.
Yeah, kind of grabbing up that corner up down Memorial Drive in 285 too. Everything that was sitting up there moving back into that mall.
These Gentiles know what they're doing, brother. They coming back into the city. They getting black folks out of the city. See, gasoline is going up. Food, everything is going up. We out in the countryside, we working into the cities, we're going to spend more money. It's going to be us that's going to be spending that big price for gasoline coming into the city, because niggas got to drive. Niggas ain't gonna catch them all tonight. I got a car, man. I'm driving my car. Right.
That's the reason why they put a block on that statewide transportation. They're gonna put us so far out that the buses ain't gonna even come that way. So we can't take the bus into the city.
They want you out of the city. Right. They don't want you in the city. Money is made into the city. And you check with the cities. Cities have become big cesspools, especially since we came off these farms and came into the city. Cities has become big cesspools. This is why the scripture said, woe to the man that join house to house, so there'll be no place for no man to live, because of the crime and so forth that goes on in the city, 24/7, 365. But go ahead and read.
You mentioned about those cracks that people like to live in all their lives. What are our instructions dealing with our brothers and sisters when they like to live in those cracks, but you don't want to be in that crack with them?
Get out.
Get out?
Mm-hmm.
What happens when you give them instructions as pertaining to that, but They're not hearing that.
Get out. Same answer. Same answer. Wash your hands of the whole matter and stand back and look and watch Lucifer do his job. That's all you got to do. All you got to do is watch. Everything is in time frames. All you got, like Mashiach says, watch. And that's all you got to do, brother. When things don't go the way they're supposed to do, just sit back and watch. Withdraw your hand. Do what you got to do now, but withdraw your hand and sit back and watch. You don't have to warn niggas all the time, man. Niggas know what your deal is, man. You know, when people do wrong, it's because that's what they choose to do. In other words, they tell their creator, look, I know what you say, and I know that what you want me to do, but this is what my flesh tells me. Do what you got to do, and I'm going to do what I got to do. I'm going to come to church on the Sabbath day, I'm going to sit down, and I'm going to listen to your message and everything, but you going to do what you got to do, because when I get out of church, I'm going to do what I got to do. That's what it's all about, brothers, trying to play both ends against the will, and y'all ain't going to play that game.
Is that why Samuel said that stubbornness is as idolatry?
It is.
Rebellion is as witchcraft?
It is.
Okay.
It is, but what's the difference?
Right.
What's the difference between rebellion and witchcraft? And it's a sin to be a witch. The scripture says you shall not suffer a witch to live, right? You're supposed to burn witches and warlocks with fire, right? Okay. So what do people do? People do what they want to do. The fire keep burning them, but they like to read that fire burning, boy. It feels so good. Yeah, niggas like heat, boy. Yeah.
Like eating that church's chicken, it gets you going, you can say, woo, oh, woo.
Right. I'm going to do this again tomorrow. Right. Right. I'm going to do this again tomorrow. Yeah.
But speaking of church's chicken, you see all these folks that's coming in now. They done taken over church's chicken. Them Indians now.
They're taking over
and everything.
Well, they're taking over everything, but because Jake ain't going to do right. Jake ain't going to do nothing but wigging and poop. Jake going to do just what Jake want to do, brother. Jake ain't going to try to get out there and start no businesses. Jake wants to spend money. That's all Jake want to do. Jake wants to spend that money, brother. That's all.
My issue after these folks going to supply us what we need and what we want.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Go ahead and read, Steve.
He says, chapter 47, verse 7, And thou saidst, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither did remember the latter end of it. Therefore hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that saith in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me, I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries, and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. Therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it rises, and mischief shall come upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be able to profit, if so be thou mayest prevail. Thou art weary in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. Behold, they shall be a stubble, the fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm it, nor fire to sit before it. Thus shall they be unto you with whom you have labored, even your merchants from your youth. They shall wander every one to his quarter, none shall save.
Right. Folks going to get the rumor, and folks going to start getting up and getting out of here, going back to their homelands. Chapter 13, in verse 1 through verse 22.
Then in the verse where it says,
in verse 7, and thou says, I shall be a lady forever. When I read that, I kind of take that in the thought how America holds the Statue of Liberty, you know, as their god, and they call themselves the lady of, you know, kingdoms and so forth. And they're so, how can you say, like, so conceited as to thinking that they're above all the nations on this whole entire earth, all these countries, that they feel that they are undefeatable, and that no matter what happens, even as the situation as 9/11 happened, you know, with the airplanes and so forth, they feel that they still feel that nothing can happen to them and that they can't be destroyed, to the point that that blinder is there, that they feel that they can't be destroyed, that when this happens, that when Russia does attack America and to come to destroy America, it's going to happen because they're not prepared, because they feel that nothing can happen to them, that it's going to happen in a moment and in a twinkling of an eye to them, because they're not going to know what to do because they didn't expect it to happen.
Well, brother, it's got to happen in a moment, in a twinkling of an eye, because if it's prolonged, America will destroy the whole earth. The reason why America said she shall sit a lady forever, she's going to be a lady forever, and no harm is going to come upon her, simply because they have history on their side. And they're relying on history. When you go back and check which nation it was that had the house of Judah in captivity, they were the most powerful nation upon the earth. So they have history on their side, but what has happened is that they have forgotten their latter end. See, they have forgotten that the God of Israel is in control of this thing instead of man. That's what the whole deal is. Man, Yahweh has given man so much technology. The man is creating parts, body parts. To replace parts that God created. So man think he's God. The apostles say, the doctors say that they are the apostles of today. And we quit to run to these witnesses because we have to. We pray about things, and Yahweh said, no, this is what you've been doing. You see, you carry that. So Yahweh don't answer our prayer, so what do? We go to a medical practitioner, somebody that's still practicing medicine, and let them practice on us. I do the same thing. I prayed to Yahweh about this eye infection I had, and didn't do nothing about it for 5 months, but so I went to the wizard. You see, we all do the same thing. Not that I got tired of waiting, but my eyes was getting pretty bad. I was getting to a place I couldn't hardly see in one of my eyes, so I had to do what I had to do, but then you got to look at that at another way too. We've always had physicians among us. Brother Luke was a physician. So, you got to do what you got to do. Back in, when I was coming up, everybody went to Mr. Rudolph. Okay. And Miss Rudolph go in the woods and get something and bring it up, and it smell like turpentine and look like Indian ink. Right. You drink that junk, boy, and let me tell you something, take care of your problem. Well, so you got to do what you got to do, not that you don't trust the Creator. When he says no, you do something else, that's all. Chapter 13, and pick that up at verse 1, my brother.
Verse 1. The burden of America, which he says for son of Amos, did see. Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain, exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the noble. I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones for mine anger, even them that rejoice in my height. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. Yahweh of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even Yahweh, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole range. Howl ye, for the day of Yahweh is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty.
So we're talking about the trumpets and the vials. We're not talking about the wrath of Yahshua. We're talking about the trumpets and the vials. This is why it says it's going to come from as a destruction from the Almighty. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 7. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt, and they shall be afraid. Pains and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flame. Behold, the day of Yahweh cometh, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Therefore I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place in the wrath of Yahweh of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. And it shall be as the chase roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land.
We haven't got any place to go. The United States government, United States and Europe has put some imposters in our land over there as the Jews, and we haven't got any place to go. If they ain't gonna let them Palestinians in there, you know damn well they ain't gonna let us in there. You saw what happened when they airlifted a few years ago when the war broke out in Mogadishu, Ethiopia, and they airlifted all the Kalasha up out of Ethiopia and put them in Israel. You saw what happened when the Vietnamese group went over there and tried to get them people to do a protest march. What did they do? They barred them from Jerusalem. Just that simple. And here we are, over here, we ain't got no place to go. So Yahweh prepared a place for us to go. Yeah, he's always been on our side. He's always been there for us. But our iniquities have separated us, the things between us and our God. And that's what has kept peace out of our households, and that's what has kept peace from among us. But go ahead and read, brother.
You know, it's been in the news lately about Whitney Houston being connected with that, they call it the cult. They're talking about she's back on that dope, and she going over there and trying to get some hope.
Well, brother, she ain't never been off dope. She went over there to do her Christmas album. Ain't that something? She went to some Hebrews to do a Christmas album. So we know what that was all about, man. You know, people get a lot of money when you get out there in that field, brother, in that entertainment field, brother. Let me tell you something. Everybody got drugs for you. And you're going to grab some of it sooner or later. And you can believe that. One way or another, you may not mess with that heroin and so forth, but that cocaine, brother, that cocaine is rich man drug, and our people that's got that money, they're offering that cocaine knee deep. Yeah, so you know what Whitney's doing, man. That's just something she's always done. So ain't no sense in us being surprised. When we look at Whitney, we should look at her the same way we look at Lil Kim. Okay. We know what they're gonna be about. Okay. So don't let us not let nothing them folks do surprise. Them folks worship Satan, man. Yeah. Go ahead and anytime a sister shows up, Jack, at a public affair that's going to be shown in millions of homes on TV with one of her titties, her breasts hanging out, brother. Yeah, something wrong with that sister.
There were no babies around there.
Yeah, I know. Go ahead and read, brother.
Isaiah chapter 13, verse 15. Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. Behold, I will stamp their Russians against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight.
Right, folks gonna want this hammer of the whole earth destroyed, because she is the problem all over the earth. This is why Bush is running around with all that democracy stuff, trying to spread democracy. We know what democracy is. Democracy is the footstool of Protestantism. We know it, and the Roman Catholics ain't gonna stand for that. They ain't gonna stand for that. Go ahead and read it.
Brother, when you look at it, it's a failed experiment.
Of course it is.
You got Jake over here. The Europeans don't like us because they say we some people with some ignorant ways. We don't like them because of their power and their wealth. Then we got the Arabs over here. We got the Asians over here. And got Ham over here. Everybody's complaining about something. It's a system. It's a failure.
It's a system that has to fall, but because there's too many people that's being disenfranchised.
Right.
Okay. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 18. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. And America, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Aryans' excellency, shall be as when Elohim overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. Inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. And the wild beasts of the isles shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. And her time verse 21. But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and their houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. And the wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged.
Okay, my brother, Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 27 through verse 58. Yirmiyahu chapter 51 and verse 27 through verse 58. And that's what I like about my Creator. You don't have to surmise about what He's doing. He tells you everything He's going to do, step by recompensing step. The only thing we have to do is grab onto that Spirit. You grab onto that Spirit is going to reveal things to you fast as they happen. Yirmiyahu chapter 51, and pick that up, my brother, at verse 27.
Set you up a standard in the land, blow the trumpet among the nations, prepare the nations against her, call together against her the kingdoms of Ararat, Mani, and Ashkenaz, appoint a captain against her, cause the horses to come up as the rough caterpillar. Prepare against her the nations with the kings of the Russians, the captains thereof, and all the rulers thereof, and all the lands of his dominion. And the land shall tremble and sorrow, but every purpose of Yahweh shall be performed against America, to make the land of America a desolation without an inhabitant. The mighty men of America have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holes. Their might have failed. They became as women. They have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken. One post shall run to meet another, and one messenger to meet another, to show the king of America that his city is taken at one evening.
Right. What's going to happen, they're going to knock out all of her communication, then they're going to have that Wells Fargo thing going on. They're going to have people going from one city to another city, passing that message on and saying, look here, we've been invaded. We've been invaded from Alaska. Yeah. Go ahead and read, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 32. And that the passages are stopped, and the reeds they have burned with fire, and the men of war are fighting. But thus says Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, the daughter of Europe is like a threshing floor. It is time to thresh her. Yet a little while, and the time of her harvest shall come.
Praise Yah.
Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Iraq, have devoured me. He have crushed me. He have made me an empty vessel. He have swallowed me up like a dragon. He have filled his belly with my delicacies. He have cast me out. The violence done to me and to my flesh be upon America, shall the inhabitants of Yehuda say, and my blood upon the inhabitants of Chaldea shall Jerusalem say. Therefore thus says Yahweh, Behold, I will plead thy cause and take vengeance for thee, and I will dry up her sea and make her springs dry. And America shall become heaps, a dwelling place for dragons, an astonishment and a hissing without an inhabitant. They shall roar together like lions, they shall yell as lions' whelps. In their heat I will make their feast, and I will make them drunken, that they may rejoice and sleep a perpetual sleep, and not wake, says Yahweh.
Praise Yah.
I will bring them down like lambs to the slaughter, like rams with he-goats. How is Shishak taken? And how is the praise of the whole earth surprised? How is America becoming astonishment among the nations? The sea has come up upon America. She is covered with the multitude of the waves thereof. Her cities are a desolation, a dry land, and a wilderness, a land wherein no man dwelleth, neither does any son of man pass thereby. And I will punish Baal in America, and I will bring forth out of his mouth that which he hath swallowed up, and the nations shall not flow together any more unto him. Yea, the wall of America shall fall. My people, go you out of the midst of her, and deliver you every man his soul from the fierce anger of Yahweh. And least your heart faint, and you fear for the rumor that shall be heard in the land. And rumor shall both come 1 year, and after that in another year shall come a rumor, and violence in the land, governor against governor. Therefore, behold, the days come that I will do judgment upon the graven images of America, and her whole land shall be confounded, and all her slain shall fall in the midst of her. Then the heaven and the earth, and all that is therein, shall sing for America, for the spoiler shall come unto her from the north, says Yahweh. As America have caused the slain of Israel to fall, so at America shall fall the slain of all the earth. You that have escaped the sword, go away, stand not still. Remember Yahweh afar off, and let Jerusalem come into your mind. We are confounded, because we have heard reproach. Shame hath covered our faces, for strangers are coming to the sanctuaries of Yahweh's house. Wherefore, behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that I will do judgment upon her graven images, and through all her land the wounded shall groan. Though America should mount up to heaven, and though she should fortify the height of her strength, yet from me shall spoils come unto her, says Yahweh. A sound of a cry comes from America, and great destruction from the land of the aliens, because Yahweh hath spoiled America, and destroyed out of her the great voice. When her waves do roar like great waters, a noise of their voice is uttered, because the spoiler is come upon her, even upon America, and her mighty men are taken. Even every one of their bows is broken. For Yahweh Elohim of recompenses shall surely requite. And I will make drunk her princes, and her wise men, her captains, and her rulers, and her mighty men, and they shall sleep a perpetual sleep, and not wake, says the King, whose name is Yahweh of hosts. Thus says Yahweh of hosts, the broad walls of America shall be utterly broken, and her high gates shall be burned with fire, and the people shall labor in vain, and the folk in the fire, and they shall be wicked.
Okay, my brother, chapter 52, in verse 2 through verse 46.
Jeremiah 52, verse 2.
Yeah. 51.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. You just read Jeremiah chapter 50, right?
51.
Okay, go back. I'm sorry. Go to chapter 50. Jeremiah chapter 50, and pick that up at verse 2, my brother. I'm sorry, y'all. Jeremiah chapter 50, and verse 2 through verse 46.
Verse 2. Declare you among the nations, publish and set up a standard, publish and conceal not, say, America is taken, Baal is confounded, Merodach is broken in pieces, her idols are confounded, her images are broken in pieces. For out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart, both man and beast. In those days, and in that time, says Yahweh, the children of Israel shall come, they and the children of Yehudah together, going and weeping, they shall go and seek Yahweh their Elohim. They shall ask the way to Zion with their faces thitherward, saying, Come, and let us join ourselves to Yahweh in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten. My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place.
Right, from one religion to another religion. They've forgotten their resting place. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 7. All that found them have devoured them, and their adversaries said, We'll fear not, because they have sinned against Yahweh, the habitation of justice, even Yahweh, the hope of their fathers. Remove out of the midst of America, and go forth out of the land of the Aryans, and be as the he-goats before the flock.
And be what? Be as the he-goats before the flock. Be as the he-goats before the flock. You brothers got something to do, and you need to get on your case to do it. Regardless of what's going on in your personal life, you got to figure out, you got to find out what's number one in your life. And that's what you got to pursue, because Yahweh will not take second best to nobody. And you believe that? Yeah, go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 9. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against America an assembly of great nations from the north country. And they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. And the land of the Aryans shall be a spoil. All that spoil her shall be satisfied, says Yahweh. Because you were glad, because you rejoice, O you destroyers of mine heritage, because you have grown fat as the heifer grass, and valor as bulls, Europe shall be sore confounded. She that values shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. Because of the wrath of Yahweh, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goes by America shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. Put yourselves in array against America round about. All you that bend the bow, shoot at her. Spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against Yahweh. Shout against her round about. She hath given her hand. Her foundations are fallen, her walls are thrown down. For it is the vengeance of Yahweh. Take vengeance upon her, as she hath done, do unto her. Cut off the sword from America, and him that handles the sickle in the time of harvest. Fulfill their pressing sword, they shall turn every one to his people, and they shall flee every one to his own land. Israel is a scattered sheep. The lions have driven him away. First, the king of Assyria have devoured him, and last, this Nebuchadnezzar, king of Iraq, have broken his bones. Therefore, thus says Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of Israel. Behold, I will punish the king of America and his land as I have punished the king of Assyria. And I will bring Israel again to his habitation, and he shall feed on Carmel and Bashan, and his soul shall be satisfied upon Mount Ephraim and Gilead. In those days and in that time, says Yahweh, the iniquity of Israel shall be sought for, and there shall be none. And the sins of Yehudah, and they shall not be found. For I will pardon them whom I reserve. Go up against the land of the rebels, even against it, and against the inhabitants of visitation. Waste and utterly destroy after them, says Yahweh, and do according to all that I have commanded thee. A sound of battle is in the land, and of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth come asunder and broken? How is America become a desolation among the nations? I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, America, and you were not aware. You are found and also caught, because you have striven against Yahweh. Yahweh hath opened his armory and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Adonai Elohim of hosts in the land of the Aryans. Come against her from the utmost border. Open her storehouses, cast her up as heaps, and destroy her utterly. Let nothing of her be left. Slay all her brothers down to the slaughter. Woe unto them, for their day is come, the time of their visitation. The voice of them that flee and escape out of the land of America, to declare in Zion the vengeance of Yahweh, our Elohim, the vengeance of his temple. Call together the archers against America, all you that bend the bow, camp against it round about. Let none thereof escape. Recompense her according to her work, according to all that she hath done, do unto her. For she hath been proud against Yahweh, against the Holy One of Israel. Therefore shall her young men fall in the streets, and all her men of war shall be cut off in that day, says Yahweh. Behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud, says the Adonai Elohim of hosts. For your day is come, the time I will visit you, that I will visit you. And the most proud shall stumble and fall, and none shall raise him up. And I will kindle a fire in his cities, and it shall devour all round about him. Thus says Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Yehudah were pressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. Their Redeemer is strong. Yahweh of hosts is his name. He shall thoroughly plead their cause, that he may give rest to the land and disquiet the inhabitants of America. A sword is upon the Aryans, says Yahweh, and upon the inhabitants of America, and upon her princes, and upon her wise men. A sword is upon the liars, and they shall dote. A sword is upon her mighty men, and they shall be dismayed. A sword is upon their horses, and upon their chariots, and upon all the mingled people that are in the midst of her, and they shall be as women. A sword is upon her treasures, and they shall be wild. A drought is upon her waters, and they shall be dried up. For it is the land of graven images, and they are mad upon their idols. Therefore the wild beast of the desert with the wild beast of the island shall dwell there, and the owl shall dwell therein. And it shall be no more inhabited forever, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. As Elohim overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, says Yahweh, so shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell therein. Behold, a people shall come from the north, and a great nation, and many kings shall be raised up from the coast of the earth. They shall hold the bow and the lance. They are cruel and will not show mercy. Their voice shall roar like the sea, and they shall ride upon horses, every one put in array, like a man to the battle against thee, O daughter of Europe.
Right, she got to be destroyed because she is the helm of the whole earth, and she tried to dictate policy all over the earth, and in order for them to put the EU together, she's going to have to be destroyed. Ain't no doubt about it. Go ahead. Yeah.
Got to be talking about this stuff here because there's people all over Babylon that's over the old Babylon. People all over there.
I know what it's about.
Nobody's going to be able to exist in this.
Right. It's a little town 25 miles north of Baghdad called that hill Iraq, and it's inhabited. He said no man is going to dwell there. So it couldn't be talking about the old nation of Babylon, but because it's a town there now. And if men are dwelling there, and he always said no man is going to dwell there, then it's a lie someplace. And my God ain't never told a lie. Yeah, that's...
Plus, do we know that's America because they got these stickers, they put on the car, and they got part of America, right? The Bible said most proud. And we just read here that the things that were written before our times, just like Sodom and Gomorrah got destroyed, so the New Testament was written for our learning. So we know that the fourth kingdom, which is the Roman Empire, is still a cultural extension. They're still doing the same thing as the ancient kingdom. We don't learn from them.
Right.
The ancient kingdom.
Right. And besides, old ancient Babylon was not burned with fire. America, he says, God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah became sulfur pits, didn't he? Didn't he? Well, the same thing going to happen to America. Yeah. She's going to be totally destroyed, utterly destroyed, brother.
Before you go on to what people still understand, you're not going to find America in the Bible, you know what I mean? So a lot of people would when they read it, because of the parallel things that happened back then, and with the fourth kingdom, was Daniel do talk about four kingdoms, right? Before this kingdom was the Roman Empire, these Gentiles up to now. It's the other way around.
Right, and then what they have to do is look at the destruction that happened to the various countries that was destroyed in the past, and they'll find out that none of the destruction of those countries fit this. None of them did. Okay, go ahead and read, Steve.
Yirmiyahu chapter 50, verse 43. The king of America hath heard the report of them, and his hands waxed feeble. Anguish took hold of him, and pains as of a woman in travail. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan unto the habitation of the strong, but I will make them suddenly run away from her. And who is a chosen man that I may appoint over her? For who is like me, and who will appoint me the time? And who is that shepherd that will stand before me?
Right, it says, behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of the Jordan to the habitation of the strong. When America invades, because of the Jews over there in Israel now, when America tried to invade the Middle East, folks going to tell them, say, boy, you better look around. You ain't got nothing to fight for no more. Your whole country gone. You ain't got no backup, boy. You in big trouble. Yeah, you man without a country. Now you free me. Yeah, go ahead and leave, brother. America's Army? Yeah, America's Army going to be basically destroyed at this time, brother. It's going to be basically destroyed at this time. Russia and the EU is going to take care of that.
They're going to get the ones in Europe and the ones out.
Yes, sir. They got 300,000 troops that's protecting Europe. You see, so all that's going to be taken care of, boy. Folks going to get out them uniforms. Folks going to do like the Indians did. See, with the Long Ranger, when they got the Long Ranger and Tonto hemmed up, Long Ranger say, Tonto, my guns, you get your own damn gun, buddy. Yeah, I'm going with my folks right now. Right. But the same thing going to take place once those people get over. We got to understand that they are transplanted Europeans, and people returning to their own lands, returning to their own country. Folks are going to know what the deal is with America. We see that today. The corporate structure is sitting up all over Europe. And just like Asia, right now is Coca-Cola's #1 market. You look at Walmart, pretty soon, within the next 2 or 3 years, Asia is going to be Walmart's largest market. Just wait. The whole system is sitting up over in Europe, and they're letting this economy go to pot simply because they know that the time of America is coming. Everybody know but Jake. Jake's still trying to attain the American dream, and the dream been down the toilet. White folks haven't even attained the American dream yet, and Jake trying to do it.
Dude was in the bank yesterday trying to get me to open a checking account so I won't have to pay $5 to cash my check at the bank. I told him, man, these $5 ain't going to hurt me out pretty soon. The money in the bank ain't even be mine. It's just going to be a figure. And he was looking at me like, why you say that? I said, you ain't seen that Merrill Lynch commercial where the guy go in there and they start grabbing stuff off the shelf and security guard tapped him at the end and said, you forgot your receipt? I said, that man got scared when he walked in the door and when he walked out the door.
Of course.
Because there ain't no money.
Of course.
You look in the bank and don't know that.
And with this new chip they got, they just come out with, brother, if they mess around and get that thing set up here in America, man, the rest of the world is going to be in big trouble. This is why that's going to have to be set up in Europe, brother. It's going to have to be. But go ahead. You know what I mean? You know how hard it would be to give all these illegal aliens a chip? right. And you get into the place, the only thing, once they insert that chip, you go into the grocery store, you pick up your products, you don't have to worry about the cash, you just walk right on out the store, it's automatically recorded through that chip. Yeah. Go ahead and read, Steve.
Yeah, black folks trying to get the dream and they don't know it and turn to a nightmare.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We just don't see it, brother, because, see, we got our eyes on what's happening in the streets. We got our eyes on having fun and partying and carrying on, you see. We got our eyes set on things that Yahweh has told us, so look, you better watch for these things, but we ain't watching. We too busy doing what we want to do. We too busy satisfying this sinful flesh, brother, and that's what Jake loved, boy. Jake loved this flesh more than he ever will care for his creator. But go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 45. Therefore hear you the counsel of Yahweh that he have taken against America, and his purposes that he have purposed against the land of the Aryans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them off. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. At the noise of the taking of America, the earth is moved, and the cry is heard among the nations.
Okay, so what do we see here? We see that America develops violence throughout the land due to economics or the like thereof. Then the first rumor of the Russian invasion goes forth, and many people leave the country. Judah goes to the wilderness. Russia destroys America as trumpets 1, 2, 3, 4 blown, and vials 1, 2, 3, 4 are poured out, and Lucifer uses the water of the sea to try to destroy Yehuda that's headed for the wilderness. Now let's go into Prophet Zechariah. Let's pick up the next order of business here. Zechariah chapter 13, verse 7 through verse 9. Zechariah chapter 13 and verse 7 through verse 9. Boy, if you want to sing, you better join the choir. Last week I talked to you, I couldn't even hear your voice. Now you're talking kind of loud, ain't you, Paul? Okay, you ain't got no problem with it. Zechariah chapter, where I told you to go, chapter 13. Zechariah chapter 13, verse 7 through verse 9.
Verse 7. Awake, O sword, against my shepherd, and against the man that is my fellow, says Yahweh of hosts. Smite the shepherd, and the sheep shall be scattered, and I will turn mine hand upon the little one. And it shall come to pass that in all the land, says Yahweh, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. And I will bring the third part through the fire, and will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. They shall call on my name, and I will hear them. I will say, it is my people, and they shall say, Yahweh is my Elohim.
Okay, my brother. Now so we see that 2/3 of our people is going to be cut off and die. Can you look at your hand and look back over the things that you do in the church and the way that you deal with the laws of God? Can you look back and actually say that you will not be part of that 2/3 that's going to be purged off and die? Psalms chapter 31, verse 18 through verse 24. Psalms chapter 31 and verse 18 through verse 24.
Verse 18. Let the lying lips be put to silence, which speak grievous things proudly and contemptuously against the righteous. Oh, how great is thy goodness, which thou hast laid up for them that fear thee, which thou hast wrought for them that trust in thee before the sons of men.
That's us. That's the one that's getting out, talking this word, is trying to convert people. That's who it is. But you have to ask yourself a question. When you get out among your chief friends, is Yahweh your conversation, or is your conversation all about natural things to please the flesh? Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 20. Thou shalt hide them in the secret of thy presence from the pride of man. Thou shalt keep them secretly in a pavilion from the strife of tongues. Blessed be Yahweh, for he hath showed me his marvelous kindness in a strong city. For I said in my haste, I am cut off from before thine eyes. Nevertheless, thou heardest the voice of my supplications when I cried unto thee. O love Yahweh, all you his saints, for Yahweh preserveth the faithful and plentifully rewardeth the proud doer. Be of good courage, and he shall strengthen your heart, all you that hope in Yahweh.
Praise Yah. Chapter 91 and verse 1 through verse 16.
Let me get ready that bust up that Catholic doctrine ready to try to call people saints, because you're speaking to the children of Israel here.
You see what the Catholic Church doing there, brother? They trying to draw these young people in, right? This Bill? You see that on the CNN this weekend?
Might as well we say wine.
Yeah, but I'm saying, these Catholics, they got, it's a hookup, basically, for young people.
Of course it is, brother. They're trying to get them old fogies out of office and put the younger generation in. That's what they're trying to do. Because the younger generation, the old folks ain't doing nothing sitting back on their laurels and enjoying everything. They ain't doing nothing, man, but raping these young boys.
Yeah, when you see it, it's going to look like a nightclub scene. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Put it on television.
Yeah, I can understand that, brother. I can understand that. Chapter 91 in verse 1 through verse 16.
Verse 1. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty.
So once that 2/3 is purged out, that third is going on a march to the secret place in the wilderness, because y'all know Jake is going to tell everybody where we are. Y'all know that. So we're going to the secret place, and there will be a covering over the whole defense. Go ahead and read.
Teach your brother with everything they got out of America, they're going to tell what's going on.
Of course. It says you're going to open a storehouse and she's going to be robbed. It said the children of Judah is going to come bring their gold and their silver with them. So obviously he's going to cause the same thing to happen in America that happened when we came out of Egypt. And once we get out there in that wilderness, man, brothers and sisters is going to want to go to Conrad Hilton. Folks going to want to go and lay up on them resorts and everything and spend their gold and silver and so forth and just party and become a part of Lucifer's kingdom. That's what we do now. Don't we? We love flirting with Lucifer. And if you flirt with Lucifer, you can believe one thing. All you got to do is flirt. And he's going to be in there. Yeah, you can believe that. You open the door to the devil, he ain't gonna show you no slack. Go ahead and read it, brother.
Verse 2. I will say of Yahweh, he is my refuge and my fortress, my Elohim, in him will I trust. Surely he shall deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shall thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler.
Praise Yah.
Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come near you. Only with your eyes shall you behold and see the reward of the wicked. Because thou hast made Yahweh, which is my refuge, even the Most High, your habitation, there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come near your dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against the stone.
They shall bear you up in your hand to keep you from kicking your foot against a stone. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 13. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and dragon shall thou trample on the feet. Because he hath set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation.
Those that dwell in the secret place of the Most High, these are the ones that's going to be shown that salvation. So what do we see here? We saw that after America, just before America, after America's destruction, we saw that 2/3 of our people were purged, and Yahweh's portion goes to the secret place in the wilderness from the wrath of Lucifer for those 3.5 years known as the Great Tribulation period. Now let's go to Revelation chapter 9 and pick it up at verse 1 through verse 12. Revelation chapter 9 and verse 1 through verse 12. So I keep doing these classes and things like this so that you young brothers, I know that y'all like to do a lot of saber rattling and so forth and so on, you know, but a lot of times, brother, you need to put your sword in your sheath. Especially when brothers come around that you know, that they say they come to fellowship, but they don't come to fellowship, they come to fuss. And you know that you ain't getting no fruit there, so why saber rattle with them? Saber rattle with people that don't know what the truth is. You know, that has never heard the truth, you know, but to those that want to come around and want to box with y'all, why box? We ain't getting no fruit. So what's the sense in dealing with it? Walk away, and that'll take care of the whole deal, won't it? Where I told you go, man.
Revelation chapter 9, verses 1 through 20.
Right, if you give a fool an opportunity to express himself, then the fool will express himself. So don't give him the opportunity. You know, Revelation chapter 9, and pick that up verse 1 through verse 12, my brother.
And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there rose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of Elohim in their forehead. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh a man. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and on their heads were as it were crowns like gold, and their faces were as the faces of men.
Now understand, this brother here don't know what a helicopter, a tank, or none of that stuff is, so he's trying to describe things as best as he could in his time. But go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 8. And they had hair as the hair of women, and their teeth were as the teeth of lions. And they had breastplates, as it were breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots of many horses running to battle. And they had tails like unto scorpions, and there were stings in their tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue have his name Apollyon. 1 woe is past, and behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter.
Okay, chapter 16 and verse 10 through verse 11. Chapter 16 and verse 10 and 11.
As far as the
Stand up, sister, I can't hear you.
as far as the chip is concerned, people who may get it, say, like in New Orleans, they use the chip for all the dead people to count them and keep up with them. So those people have the chips already in them. So when he comes back, will people who may have known of Yahweh, will they be saved or risen? But they already got that chip in them.
Well, if they dead, the chip don't make no difference, does it? Okay, the chip that they're talking about placing in people is for the living, really, so that they can keep track of the living. They know about the dead is done. If a brother or sister is already dead and somebody put a chip in you while you're dead, ain't nothing you can do about that. You're already dead. When you're dead, you're done. Let the good time roll. Let them do what they want to do to you, cremate you or whatever. They won't have to give an account for that, sister, because they're already dead.
What about the babies? Because they're trying to pass trying to change the law and make a patent now where they can start using the chip. So when babies are born now, the hospitals are going to try to use that, of course, as a medical tracking device. What about those infants?
Well, those chips, it's a difference between a chip and the name, number, and mark of the beast. That's what you got to worry about, is the name, number, and mark of the beast. They're going to get this thing set up to where you ain't going to be able to buy or sell except you have the name, number, and mark of the beast, and they ain't got nothing to do with that chip, sweetheart. That chip is just for tracking and identification. That's all it's for. Okay. Chapter 16, and pick that up at verse 10 and 11, brother.
Yes, sir. And the fifth angel poured out his vial upon the seat of the beast, and his kingdom was full of darkness. And they gnawed their tongues for pain, and blasphemed the Elohim of heaven because of their pains and their sores, and repented not of their deeds.
So what this is now, this is the war between, we can pick this up in the book of Daniel. We're going to cover that. Chapter 13, and verse 1 through verse 10. Chapter 13, and verse 1 through verse 10. This is the war, what they're talking about now is the war that's going to go on between the kings of the Middle East, the Muslim folks over there. It's going against, it's the beast coming against them because they have to cause everyone to receive that name, number, and mark. And we know that the Arabs over there in the Middle East ain't going to take nothing unless they have been totally defeated. And the beast is going to have to defeat the Middle East before he can rule the whole earth. Chapter 13, let's pick that up in 13 and verse 1 through verse 10.
Revelation or Daniel? Revelation or Daniel?
Revelation.
Is not Aryan another name for European?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sure, the Aryans come out of Europe.
Chaldeans, we said the Aryans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Aryans come out of Europe. Okay. Chapter 13, in verse 1 through verse 10. Let's pick up this last empire.
And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And Lucifer gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw one of his heads, as it were, wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped Lucifer, which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against Israel, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations.
In order for him to have that power, he's going to have to defeat the Arabs in the Middle East, because we know the Arabs ain't going to get up off nothing. Go ahead, brother.
Well, it's just like you've been saying from day one, brother. all the world fared better when it was under the rulership of one man.
Of course.
So we got to bring everything together, right?
Correct. It's the revival of the Holy Roman Empire. We were told that the deadly wound was healed. So Europe came back together again, and we see it now under the guise of the EU. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 8, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leads into captivity shall go into captivity. He that kills with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
Okay, my brothers, chapter 17, in verse 8 through verse 18. So we see political Babylon came upon the scene, and Europe the whole world has one king, right? Okay, chapter 17 and verse 8 through verse 18. Now we were talking about political Babylon. Okay, let's go pick up ecclesiastical Babylon.
Verse 8, the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of and go into spiritual ruin. And they that dwell on the earth shall wander, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was, and is not, and yet is. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the Romans sit.
That gives us a geographical location. Rome sits upon 7 hills. And it also lets us know that the Roman Catholic Church was the one that devoured the 7 churches that Paul set up. By the time Rome fell in 476 AD, neither one of those churches existed. And they went into the period of time called the Dark Ages, and it was called that because there wasn't anything coming from the church. But after that was over, she came out singing like the whore that she is, and they had one church, the Roman Catholic Church. And that didn't divide until 1572, when Martin Luther, another German, separated the protesters from the Roman Catholic Church, and that is bloused out into a big money maker. Yeah. Go ahead and read it. If they ain't got it, they'll make it up for you. Yeah. Go ahead and read, Steve.
Verse 9. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the Romans sit. Verse 10.
Hold up, bro. Okay.
Verse 9. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the Romans sit. And there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7th, and goeth into spiritual ruin. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them. For he is Adonai of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. And he says unto me, the waters which thou sawest where the horse sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For Elohim hath put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree, and give their kingdom unto the beast, until the words of Elohim shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city, which reigneth over the kings of the earth.
Okay, my brother, now let's go pick up that war between the Christians and the Muslims. Daniel 11 and verse 36 through verse 45. Daniel chapter 11 and verse 36 through verse 45.
Yeah, Elder Walmart Hill that was in Rome was called Capitol Hill. That's the same thing they got here, right?
America tried to set up just like Rome. Just like Rome, brother. Revelation 11, Daniel rather, 11, in verse 36 through verse 45.
And the king shall do according to his will, and he shall exalt himself and magnify himself above every god, and shall speak marvelous things against the Elohim of gods, and shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished, for that is determined shall be done. Neither shall he regard the Elohim of his fathers, nor the desire women, nor regard any god, for he shall magnify himself above all. But in his estate shall he honor the God of forces, and a God whom his fathers knew not shall he honor with gold and silver, and with precious stones and pleasant things. Thus shall he do in the most strongholds with a strange God, whom he shall acknowledge and increase with glory, and he shall cause them to rule over many, and shall divide the land for gain.
So he's talking about his military power that he's going to increase with all these riches, and that's who he's going to give favor to, is his military power. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 40. And at the time of the end shall the king of the south push
at the time of the end, the king of that Middle East is going to push at the king of the north. And that'll be the first time. They did it in the 6th century, and they did it again in the 13th century. But each time, the Gentiles stopped that battle at Constantinople, which is Istanbul, Turkey today. Go ahead and read, brother.
And the king of the north shall come against him like a whirlwind, with chariots and with horsemen and with many ships. And he shall enter into the countries and shall overflow and pass over. He shall enter also into the glorious land, and many countries shall be overthrown, but these shall escape out of his hand, even Edom and Moab, and the chief of the children of Ammon. He shall stretch forth his hand also upon the countries, and the land of Egypt shall not escape. But he shall have power over the treasures of gold and of silver, and over all the precious things of Egypt. And the Libyans and the Ethiopians shall be at his steps.
Now these are Muslims, we know that, right? Go ahead, brother.
Verse 44. But tidings out of the east and out of the north shall trouble him. Therefore he shall go forth with great fury to destroy and utterly to make away many. And he shall plant the tabernacles of his palace between the seas in the glorious holy mountain. Yet shall he come to his end, and none shall walk.
Right, they destroy St. Peter's Basilica. First they invade the Middle East. The beast invade the Middle East, defeat Shem, and the Roman Empire is reestablished over the whole earth. This is when the 10 kings is going to destroy St. Peter's Basilica, and the Pope is going to move to Jerusalem and get in the temple that they're going to build in Jerusalem and say that he is God. Revelation chapter 13 in verse 11 through verse 18.
That's the part of Thessalonians says that you should set the Sabbath and be a temple of God.
Revelation chapter 13 in verse 11 through verse 18. Let's pick up this last beast. Now we have political Babylon. Now we're going to bring ecclesiastical Babylon. This last pope that's going to rule the earth. The scripture called him the false prophet. Okay.
How beautiful it would be if the masses of our people could come together and hear this great word.
Man, niggas don't want to hear this word, man. But folks want to hear this word from man. Whole lot of us don't want to hear it, man, because it cramps our style. Okay? But see, once you hear it, you're chargeable. He that knows to do right and don't do it is going to be beat with many stripes. But he that don't know and commit error is going to be beaten with few stripes. See, that's why when you come to NCCI, make sure you know what you got to know, so you won't have no excuse. You can't say, well, Hannah didn't say that. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Got some tapes back there.
Because you can just be talking about something as simple as a dietary life and you'll scare people away. Because I got to have my Pope.
They say you should, bro. Let me tell you something, brother. Some people cannot cease to do wrong. You know why? They're unstable, beguiling soul. Their heart is not settled with their Creator yet. They don't know whether they want to be in the world or out of the world. So what they do is this. They try to be in both, and it ain't going to work. It ain't going to work. If you try to be in both, you already been deceived. Ain't no doubt about it. You already been deceived and already cut off. Regardless of what you do, you already take me with this mess, man. Revelation chapter 13, and pick that up at verse 11 through verse 18, bro.
And out of hell another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon.
When the first beast came up out of the sea of men, this next beast came up out of the earth, right? And he had 2 horns like a lamb. In other words, he had the power of the EU, and he had the power of the Roman Catholic Church, right? And what happened? He spoke as a dragon. Now remember, the dragon had gave the Roman Empire his power and his seat and great authority, but the spokesman for him is the Pope, the false prophet. That's why he spake as a dragon. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 12. And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he make a fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword, and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
Right, his number is 666, which is the number of each pope that takes the office. It's the number that goes along with the office. 2 Thessalonians 2, let's verify that. 2 Thessalonians 2 in verse 1 through verse 12. 2 Thessalonians 2 in verse 1 through verse 12.
Well, you know that the Roman fellows that the Catholic priests, they're the one that keep continuing with that. You know, they come with give up the power to the priest.
2 Thessalonians 2 in verse 1 through verse 12.
Yes, sir. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the calling of our Adonai Yeshua HaMashiach, and by our gathering together unto him, that you be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter, as from us, as that the day of the Mashiach is at hand. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a following away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of spiritual ruin.
Right, now, many times Jehovah's Witnesses has come up and say, well, the Lord is coming on such and such a day and at such and such a time, and end up with egg all over their face because no man knows the hour of the day. And like you said in verse 3, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. A fall away from what? A falling away from sound doctrine. A falling away from walking in the truth. And this time go, if we get closer and closer to our salvation, watch and see how many folks you see get up out of here. Just watch. Just watch. The world got something for you, brother. Yes, sir. If you haven't come up out of that world yet, you stand a good chance of not coming up out of it. Go ahead and leave, brother. You took, like I said, you flirt with Satan, Satan gonna get you. Ain't no doubt about it. You ain't got no, as powerful as an adversary as Satan is, you flirt with him, he gonna get you. Man, you can believe that. Yeah. Go ahead and read, Steve.
2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4. Who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called Elohim, all that is worshipped, so that he is Elohim, sitteth in the temple of Elohim, showing himself that he is Elohim. Remember you not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and now you know what we told him, that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity does already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken.
Only the Holy Spirit is letting these things go on until when? Until he be taken up out of the way. Have you got enough of the Spirit of the living God to go on your own once the Spirit is removed? Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Adonai shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and unreasonableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause, Elohim shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie.
And for this cause, now listen to what he says now. And for this cause, Elohim shall send them what? The spirit of strong delusion, so that they will believe whatever lie that they're dealing with. See, that's why people get out and get in that world and can't turn around from it, because you already deceived them. They have that spirit of strong delusion. Well, if it's a spirit of strong delusion, then it's the spirit of the adversary, the devil, and it's unclean spirit, ain't it? Yeah. Read it, brother.
Last verse 12, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness.
And people really take all the pleasure they want. They get their jollies off unrighteousness. Now, the problem is that we have today is Christianity, which will terminate when the Vatican is destroyed and the Pope moves to Zion and declare himself to be God Almighty. Well, once he go into Jerusalem and enter into that temple, let's go and see what's going to take place. Numbers chapter 10 and verse 1 through verse 9. Numbers chapter 10 and verse 1 through verse 9. Let's pick this up right after the right after the great, this is what's going to be coming down to the very end of the great tribulation period. Numbers chapter 10, and pick that up at verse 1, my brother.
Yes, sir. And Yahweh spake unto Moshe, saying, Make thee 2 trumpets of silver, of a whole piece shalt thou make them, that thou mayest use them for the calling of the assembly, and for the journeying of the camp.
Okay, now let's go pick up the first trumpet. Go to verse 7.
Verse 7? But when the congregation is to be gathered together, you shall blow, but you shall not sound an alarm.
When the congregation is to be gathered together, you shall blow, but you shall not sound the alarm, right? Okay, put some in the book there, because we're coming right back there. Let's go in Isaiah chapter 52 and verse 11 through verse 13. Isaiah chapter 52 and verse 10 through verse 12. Isaiah chapter 52, and pick that up at verse 10, my brother.
Verse 10. Yahweh have made bare his holy arm in the eyes of all the nations, and all the ends of the earth shall see the salvation of our Elohim. Depart you, go you out from thence, touch no unclean thing, go you out of the midst of her, be you clean, that thou the vessels of Yahweh.
The vessels of the gifts of Yahweh, right? Go ahead, brother.
Verse 12. For you shall not go out with haste, nor go by flight, for Yahweh will go before you, and the Elohim of Israel will be your rear guard.
Okay, my brother, now let's go back into, so the first trumpet blew, and Judah left out of here and went to the wilderness, right? Okay, let's go back into Numbers chapter 10, and pick that up at verse 4. Now remember now, we've been in the wilderness for 3.5 years now. Okay, go ahead, brother.
Verse 4. And if they blow but with one trumpet, then the princes, which are heads of the thousands of Israel, shall gather themselves unto thee.
This is when the princes gather themselves together to march on the holy city of Zion. Now read verse 5, my brother.
When you blow an alarm, then the camps that lie on the east part shall go forward.
Okay, so the warriors of Zion that lives that's on the east camp, when you go back and check the movements of the camp, you'll find out that was the house of Judah along with 2 other tribes, because they had 4 camps set up, and each camp had 3 tribes, and when the trumpet was blown, the camp on the east side had to move first. Now read verse 6, brother.
When you blow an alarm the second time, then the camps that lie on the south side shall take their journey. They shall blow an alarm for their journey.
Okay, this is when the women and children get together to come together to come into Zion. Now read verse 3, brother.
And when they shall blow verse 3, and when they shall blow with them, all the assembly shall assemble themselves to thee at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
Okay, my brother, now let's go into, I think we need to read verse 9.
And if you go to war in your land against the enemy that oppresses you, then you shall blow an alarm with the trumpets, and you shall be remembered before Yahweh your Elohim, and you shall be saved from your enemies.
Okay, Revelation 9 and verse 13 through verse 21. Revelation 9, verse 13 through verse 21. It's a lot of stuff here. So if you don't get it all at one time, just keep sitting there since you have it all that far. By the time we get ready to get up out of here, you know everything you need to know. Revelation 9 and verse 13 through verse 21.
And the 6th angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar which is before Elohim, saying to the 6th angel which had the trumpet, loose the 4 angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. And the 4 angels were loose, which were prepared for an hour, and a day, and a month, and a year, for to slay the 3rd part of men. Mm-hmm. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. And I heard the number of them.
So we're talking about 200 million people, right? Go ahead, brother.
Verse 17. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire, and of jacinth and brimstone. And the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouths issued fire and smoke and brimstone. By these 3 were the 3rd part of men killed by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone which issue out of their mouths. For their power is in their mouth and in their tails, for their tails were like unto serpents and had heads, and with them they do hurt. And the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues, yet repented not of the works of their hands, that they should not worship devils and idols of gold and silver and brass and stone and of wood, which neither can see nor hear nor walk, neither repented they of their murders nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornication, nor of their theft.
Right, they couldn't repent because Yahweh had sent them the spirit of strong delusion so that they would believe the lie. Chapter 15 and verse 12 through verse 16. Chapter 15 and verse 12 through verse 16.
Revelation? There's no verse 16.
I'm sorry. Chapter 16 and verse 12 through verse 16. Chapter 16 and verse 12 through verse 16.
And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water there was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared.
Here come the kings coming out of Asia, right? Coming into that Middle East, right? They're coming up to Zion because Judah has invaded the city and has, and the Pope is in that city. But go ahead and read, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 13. And I saw three unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, and out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet. For they are spirits of devils, working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them to the battle of that great day of Elohim Almighty. Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watches and keeps his garment, lest he walk naked, and they see his shame. And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon.
Okay, so now Judah has invaded the city. The words went forth. Now all these armies of the beast is coming up to Zion to destroy the house of Judah. Joel chapter 2 and verse 12 through verse 20. Joel chapter 2 and verse 12 through verse 20. Yeah. Joel chapter 2 and verse 12 through verse 20.
Therefore also now says Yahweh, turn you even to me with all your heart, and with fasting, and with weeping, and with mourning. And rend your heart, and not your garment, and turn unto Yahweh your Elohim. For he is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and of great kindness, and repenteth him of the evil. Who knows if he will return and repent, and leave a blessing behind him, even a meat offering and a drink offering unto Yahweh your Elohim. Blow the trumpet in Zion, sanctify a fast, call a solemn assembly. Gather the people, sanctify the congregation, assemble the elders, gather the children and those that suck the breast. Let the bridegroom go forth of his chamber, and the bride out of her closet. Let the priests, the ministers of Yahweh, weep between the porch and the altar, and let them say, spare your people, O Yahweh, and give not your heritage to reproach, that the heathen should rule over them. Wherefore should they say among the people, where is their Elohim? Then will Yahweh be jealous for his land and pity his people. Yes, Yahweh will answer and say unto his people, behold, I will send you corn and wine and oil, and you shall be satisfied therewith, and I will no more make you a reproach among the heathen, but I will remove far from you the northern army, and will drive him into a land barren and desolate, with his face toward the east sea, and his hinder part toward the utmost sea, and his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he have done great things.
Right. Judah looking out there, seeing all these armies coming up there, and then the angel of the Lord comes and says, don't be afraid of that. I'm going to give you corn, and I'm going to give you wine, so now we need some deliverance. Okay. Chapter 1, verse 15 through chapter 2, verse 11. Let's see what's going to take place once Judah, the house of Judah in that city, crying to Yahweh Elohim. Chapter 1, and verse 15 through chapter 2, and verse 11.
Yes, sir. Alas for the day, For the day of Yahweh is at hand, and as a destruction from the Almighty shall it come. Is not the meat cut off before our eyes, yea, joy and gladness from the house of our Elohim? The seed is rotten under their clods, the garments are laid desolate, the barns are broken down, for the corn is withered. How do the beasts groan? The herds of cattle are perplexed, because they have no pasture. Yea, the flocks of sheep are made desolate. O Yahweh, to thee will I cry. For the fire hath devoured the pastures of the wilderness, and the flame hath burned all the trees of the field.
Right, doing the blowing of the trumpets and the pouring out of the vials of wrath. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 20. The beasts of the field cry also unto thee, for the rivers of waters are dried up, and the fire hath devoured the pastures of the wilderness. Blow you the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahweh cometh, for it is nigh at hand. A day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains. A great people and a strong, that have not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. A fire devoured before them, a flame burner. The land is as the garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness, yea, and nothing shall escape. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. Before their face the people shall be much pain, all faces shall gather blackness. They shall run like mighty men, they shall climb the wall like men of war. And they shall march every one on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks.
In other words, they're going to invade the city of Zion, then, aren't they? Go ahead, brother.
Verse 8. Neither shall one thrust another, they shall walk every one in his path, and when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded.
Right, you lose 40,000 men, they're not going to even pay no attention. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 9. They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief. The earth shall quake before them. The heavens shall tremble. The sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shine. And Yahweh shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great. For he is strong that executeth his word. For the day of Yahweh is great and very terrible, and who can abide?
So they invaded Zion, and the Lord ordered his voice before his army, right? Okay, let's go to Zechariah 12 and read verse 1 through verse 14. Gotta go.
Verse 1.
Gotta go right now.
The burden of the word of Yahweh for Israel, says Yahweh, which stretches forth the heavens, and layeth the foundation of the earth, and formeth the spirit of man within him. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all the people round about, when they shall be in the siege both against Yehudah and against Jerusalem. And in that day will I make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all the people of the earth be gathered together against it. In that day, says Yahweh, I will smite every horse with astonishment, and his rider with madness. And I will open mine eyes upon the house of Yehudah, and will smite every horse of the people with blindness. And the governors of Yehudah shall say in their heart, the inhabitants of Jerusalem shall be my strength in Yahweh of hosts, their Elohim. In that day will I make the governors of Yehuda like a hearth of fire among the wood, and like a torch of fire in a sheaf, and they shall devour all the people round about, on the right hand and on the left. And Jerusalem shall be inhabited again in her own place, even in Jerusalem. Yahweh also shall save the tents of Yehuda first, that the glory of the house of David and the glory of the inhabitants of Jerusalem do not magnify themselves against Yehuda. In that day shall Yahweh defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as Elohim, as the angel of Yahweh before them. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will seek to destroy all the nations that come against Jerusalem. And I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and of supplication. And they shall look upon me whom they have pierced, and they shall mourn for him as one mourneth for his only son, and shall be in bitterness for him as one that is in bitterness for his firstborn. In that day shall there be a great mourning in Jerusalem, as the mourning of Hadad Rimmon in the valley of Megiddo. And the land shall mourn every family apart. The family of the house of David apart, and their wives apart. The family of the house of Nathan apart, and their wives apart. The family of the house of Levi apart, and their wives apart. The family of Shimei apart, and their wives apart. All the families that remain, every family apart, and their wives.
Okay, so the beast came up and invaded Jerusalem, right? And Judah had to go to war, right? Okay, and Judah was strengthened once these things took place. Now let's go to Revelation 19. Once they invaded that city, let's go to Revelation 19 and verse 11 through verse 19. And let's see what takes place then.
And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he doth judge and make war.
Now, you know what the people are going to think. Now, heaven already opened one time when Lucifer got thrown out, and everybody swore that the Messiah had returned to the land. They got a man over there talking about he's the Messiah, and another man over there talking about he's God. Now, all of a sudden, heaven opens up again, right? Yeah. Big surprise. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 12. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns, and he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of Elohim. And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty Elohim. And he had on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Adonai of Lords. And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, Come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great Elohim, that you may eat the flesh of kings, and the flesh of captains, and the flesh of mighty men, and the flesh of horses, and of them that sit on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great. And I saw the beasts and the kings of the earth, and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army.
Okay, once heaven opened and the Messiah starts to descend, let's go and see what's going to precede him. Psalms chapter 50 and verse 1 through verse 6. Psalms chapter 50 and verse 1 through verse 6.
Verse 1. The mighty Elohim, even Yahweh, have spoken and called the earth from the rising of the sun unto the going down thereof. Out of Yehuda, the perfection of Elohim have shined. The perfection of beauty, Elohim have shined. Verse 3. Our Elohim shall come and shall not keep silence. A fire shall devour before him, and it shall be very tempestuous round about him. He shall call to the heavens from above and to the earth, that he may judge his people. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice.
What's your sacrifice? What covenant have you made with Yahweh? That's a sacrifice. The sacrifice of Yahweh is a contrite of the spirit. That's all they're going to take. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 6. And the heaven shall declare his righteousness, for Yah is judge himself.
So once heaven opened, it was a fire that came out that went before him and devoured everything that was before him, right? Zechariah 14 and verse 1 through verse 7. Zechariah chapter 14, verse 1 through verse 7.
Verse 1. Behold, the day of Yahweh cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Then shall the Adonai go forth and fight against those nations as when he fought in the day of battle.
Then shall the Adonai go forth and fight against those people as he fought in the day of battle, right? So when the Messiah tried to return, like Paul said, the dead shall rise first and meet him in the air, right? Then we that are alive and remain shall be caught up together to meet him in the air, and we shall forever be with him. Not in the air now. But we read, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 4. And his feet shall stand in that day upon the Mount of Olives, which is before Jerusalem on the east, and the Mount of Olives shall cleave in the midst thereof toward the east and toward the west, and there shall be a very great valley, and half of the mountain shall remove toward the north, and half of it toward the south.
Now the Christians say that's when you're going off to heaven. Well, according to what I read, the Messiah is coming to the Mount of Olives. His feet is going to stand on the Mount of Olives, the same place he left from, right? Ain't nobody went to heaven yet, not even the bully goat. See? But when you listen to them Christians, they're already in heaven. Good, brother.
Brother, this is after tribulation.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Nobody went to heaven. If you go back in the earlier chapters of John the Revelator, the only thing he saw in heaven, people that he saw in heaven, was the 24 elders, and then the Lamb showed up, wasn't it? I don't know where these people get this lie from, that everybody die go to heaven. Every time somebody die, well, they're in heaven now, they're in a better place, they're up with the Lord. They with Jesus, right? Right.
That was down in Rome, in Greece.
Yeah, that's where it needs to be, brother. Go ahead and read, Steve.
Verse 5. And ye shall flee to the valley of the mountains. For the valley of the mountains shall reach unto Azal. Yea, ye shall flee like as you fled from before the earthquake in the days of Uzziah, king of Yehuda. And Yahweh my Elohim shall come, and all the saints with you. And it shall come to pass in that day that the light shall not be clear nor dark. But it shall be one day which shall be known to Yahweh, nor day nor night. But it shall come to pass that at evening time it shall be light.
Okay, my brother. Now, once Yehuda invade and take Zion, the beast will march on Zion. Then heavens opens, the master will send the dead, and the saints meet Yeshua in the air. The master returns to the Mount of Olives. And once he's set on the Mount of Olives is going to bust in half, and part of that mountain is going to move 20 miles away and create a very great valley, and that's where he's going to do a lot of that slaughter, and the rest of the people, he's going to drive them back to the valley of Megiddo. That's where they're going to be destroyed. But let's pick that up. Ezekiel chapter 39 in verse 1 through verse 29. Ezekiel chapter 39 in verse 1 through verse 29. If you got your notes from the last time I did this class, I added about 8 more pieces of scripture to what was done last week. There's so much you just have to keep doing and adding a little bit each time. Ezekiel chapter 39 in verse 1 through verse 29.
Verse 1. Therefore, thou son of man, prophesy against Gog, and say, thus says the Adonai Elohim, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Moscow and Tubal. And I will turn thee back, and leave but the sixth part of thee, and will cause thee to come up from the north parts, and will bring thee upon the mountains of Israel. And I will smite thy bow out of thy left hand, and will cause thine arrows to fall out of thy right hand. Thou shalt fall upon the mountains of Israel, you and all your bands, and the people that is with you. I will give you unto the ravenous birds of every sort, and to the beasts of the field to be devoured. That have spoken it, says the Adonai Elohim. And I will send a fire on the land of Russia, and among them that dwell carelessly in the isles, and they shall know that I am Yahweh.
That's Great Britain and all them countries around in there, right? He said, I'm going to send a fire upon Magog and upon y'all in the islands, right? Go here, brother.
3 countries that make up those islands, right? Britain, Scotland, and Ireland.
I don't know, man, I ain't with your time.
There are 4 countries that make up the United Kingdom. And that's England, Scotland, Ireland, and Wales.
Wales is a country?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Appreciate that, brother.
Go ahead, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 7. So will I make my holy name known in the midst of my people Israel, and I will not let them pollute my holy name anymore, and the heathen shall know that I am Yahweh, the Holy One in Israel. Behold, it is come and it is done, says the Adonai Elohim. This is the day whereof I have spoken. And they that dwell in the cities of Israel shall go forth and shall set on fire and burn the weapons, both the shields and the bucklers, the bows and the arrows, and the handstaves and the spears, and they shall burn them with fire 7 years, so that they shall take no wood out of the field, neither cut down any out of the forest. For they shall burn the weapons with fire, and they shall spoil those that spoil them, and rob those that rob them, says the Adonai. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will give unto God a place thereof graves in Israel, the valley of the passengers on the east of the sea, and it shall stop the noses of the passengers, and there shall they bury Gog and all his multitude, and they shall call it the valley of Hamon God. And 7 months shall the house of Israel be burying of them.
Turn up, brother. Okay.
Verse 11. And it shall come to pass in that day that I will give unto God a place thereof graves in Israel, the valley of the passengers on the east of the sea, and it shall stop the noses of the passengers, and there shall they bury Gog and all his multitude, and they shall call it the valley of Hamon God. And 7 months shall the house of Israel be burying of them, that they may cleanse the land. Yea, all the people of the land shall bury them, and it shall be to them a renown the day that I shall be glorified, says the Adonai Elohim. And they shall sever out men of continual employment, passing through the land to bury with the passengers those that remain upon the face of the earth to cleanse it. After the end of 7 months shall they search, and the passengers that pass through the land. When any seeth a man bone, then shall he set up a sign by it, till the buriers have buried it in the vat of Hamon God. And also the name of the city shall be Hamona. Thus shall they cleanse the land. And thou, son of man, thus says the Adonai Elohim, speak unto every feathered fowl, and to every beast of the field, assemble yourselves and come, gather yourselves on every side to my sacrifice, that I do sacrifice for you, even a great sacrifice upon the mountains of Israel, that you may eat flesh and drink blood. You shall eat the flesh of the mighty, and drink the blood of the princes of the earth, of lambs, and of goats, of bullocks, all of them fatlings of the sheep.
He's talking about people and nations now. Go ahead and read.
Verse 19. And you shall eat fat till you be full, and drink blood till you be drunken, of my sacrifice which I have sacrificed for you. Thus you shall be filled at my table with horses and chariots, with mighty men, and with all men of war, says the Adonai Elohim. And I will set my glory among the heathen, and all the heathen shall see my judgment that I have executed, and my hand that I have laid upon them. So the house of Israel shall know that I am Yahweh, their Elohim, from that day and forward. And the heathen shall know that the house of Israel went into captivity for their iniquity. Because they trespassed against me, therefore hid I my face from them, and gave them into the hand of their enemies, so fell they all by the sword. According to their uncleanness, and according to their transgressions, have I done unto them, and hid my face from them. Therefore thus says the Adonai Elohim, now will I bring again the captivity of Jacob, and have mercy upon the whole house of Israel, and will be jealous for my holy name, after that they have borne their shame, and all their trespasses whereby they have trespassed against me, when they dwelt safely in their land, and none made them afraid. When I have brought them again from the people, and gathered them out of their enemies' land, and am sanctified in them in the sight of many nations, then shall they know that I am Yahweh, their Elohim, which caused them to be led into captivity among the heathen. But I have gathered them unto their own land, and have left none of them any more there. Neither will I hide my face any more from them, for I have poured out my spirit upon the house of Israel, says the Adonai Elohim.
Okay, my brother, Revelation 19 and 20 through chapter 20 and verse 6. Revelation 19 and verse 20 through chapter 20 and verse 6.
And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worship his image. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone.
2 people, right? Go ahead, brother.
Verse 21. And the remnant was slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh. And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit, and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed in little sea. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahshua and for the word of Elohim, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands, and they live and reign with the Anointed One 1,000 years. But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. On such the second death have no power, but they shall be priests of Israel and of the Mashiach, and shall reign with him 1,000 years.
Once the Messiah comes and put down all rule upon the earth, then it's one more thing has to be done. You see, it was going to take 7 months to bury all the dead that's going to be upon the earth, but let's go and pick up some things that's going to happen, that's got to happen, that's going to bring Israel back to the land. Leviticus chapter 25, and pick that up at verse 1, my brother. Leviticus chapter 25 and verse 1.
And Yahweh spake unto Moshe in Mount Sinai, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When you come into the land which I give you, then shall the land keep a Sabbath unto Yahweh. 6 years thou shalt sow thy field, and 6 years thou shalt prune thy vineyard, and gather in the fruit thereof. But in the 7th year shall be a Sabbath of rest unto the land, a Sabbath for Yahweh. Thou shalt neither sow thy field, nor prune thy vineyard. That which grows of his own accord of your harvest you shall not reap, neither gather the grapes of your vine undressed, for it is a year of rest unto the land. And the Sabbath of the land shall be meat for you, and for your servant, and for your maid, and for your hired servant, and for your stranger that sojourneth with you, and for your cattle, and for the beasts that are in your land, shall all the increase thereof be meat. And thou shalt number 7 Sabbaths of years unto you, 7 times 7 years, and the space of the 7 Sabbaths of years shall be unto thee 49 years. Then shalt thou cause the trumpet of the Jubilee to sound on the 10th day of the 7th month. In the day of atonement shall you make the trumpet sound throughout all your land.
So on the day of atonement, the Mashiach is going to blow what? The trumpet of the Jubilee, and that is the signal for all the children of Israel to come back to the land. And when we read the prophet Isaiah, he told you that the people are going to bring, the strangers are going to bring Israel back up on the land on mules and leaders, on swift beasts, any way they can get them back up there. So then you take your people so we can have some blessings. But go ahead and read it, brother.
Verse 10, And you shall howl on the 50th year, and proclaim liberty throughout all the land unto all the inhabitants thereof. It shall be a jubilee unto you, and you shall return every man unto his possessions, and you shall return every man unto his family.
Okay, my brother, I don't want to go no further than that. So as we see, Mashiach came, Mashiach saved his people, and began to set up a righteous government upon this earth that's going to last for 1,000 years. The question is, do you really want to be a part of that, or do you prefer to get your roses right now while you can still see them? Whichever it is, Yahweh is going to have judgment without mercy upon those who have shown no mercy. But let us hear the conclusion of this matter. Psalms chapter 32 in verse 1 through verse 11.
What Sabbath you're speaking about, you can check it out also in Hebrews when it says they remain a Sabbath for the people. Same thing there.
There remains a Sabbath of rest for the people. And it's the Sabbath of Jubilee. That Jubilee will last 1,000 years. Then Lucifer was going to be let out of the bottomless pit for 3 months. And then after that 1,000 years, then he's going to go to the 4 quarters of the earth to gather the same folks that he brought up there in the beginning, Gog and Magog, but it ain't going to be no fight this time. When you read the Songs of Solomon, it told you that it said, my beloved is in the city. He's looking through the lattice of the windows. What is he looking at? He's looking at these armies coming up there. And what's going to happen? The sky's going to open up and fire's just going to come down and divide them. That's when the people of the earth will be standing in space. You don't stand in space unless you're a new creature now. They'll be standing in space. This earth here will be lake of fire. The people will be transferred to the new heaven and new earth, and this lake of fire, everybody will be raised up that's dead, and the white throne judgment will set, and everybody that's raised up will be thrown in that lake of fire. You ain't got no business being dead once Mashiach come back and stand on the Mount of Olives. Psalm chapter 32, and pick that up at verse 1, my brother.
Blessed is he whose transgression is forgiven, whose sin is covered. Blessed is the man unto whom Yahweh imputeth not iniquity, and whose spirit there is no guile. When I kept silence, my bones waxed old through my roaring all the day long. For day and night thy hand was heavy upon me. My moisture is turned into the drought of summer. I acknowledge my sin unto thee, and mine iniquity. I will confess my transgressions unto Yahweh, and thou forgavest the iniquity of my sin.
Praise Yah.
For this shall everyone that is godly pray unto thee in a time when thou mayest be found. Surely in the floods of great waters they shall not come nigh unto him.
Well, suppose we hold on to things and pray unto Yahweh when it's too late for him to be found. Go ahead and read, brother.
Verse 7. Thou art my hiding place. Thou shalt preserve me from trouble. Thou shalt compass me about with songs of deliverance.
Praise Yah.
I will instruct thee and teach thee in the way which thou shalt go. I will guide thee with mine eye. Be you not as the horse or as the mule, which have no understanding, whose mouth must be held in with bit and bridle, lest they come near unto you. Many sorrows shall be to the wicked, but he that trusts in Yahweh, mercy shall compass him about. Be glad in Yahweh and rejoice, you righteous, and shout for joy, all you that are upright in heart.
Praise Yah. So it's been said, so let it be written. Even so, come Lord Yahshua, and save Jacob out of all of his troubles. That's all I'm going to do today.